New England Ski Journal's Basecamp Podcast, presented by Country Ski and Sport. Ski season is here, and it's time to gear up at Country Ski and Sport. Shop now for your best preseason deals at any of their 3 locations in Hanson, Quincy, and Westwood, Mass. Or shop online at countryski.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Basecamp Podcast here at New England Ski Journal. I'm co-host, I should say, Mike Spiecian, and hold it. You're not Eric Wilbur.
I'm definitely not Eric Wilbur. Those are big shoes to fill, big snow boots to fill. And, but yes, producer David Yaz at your service. Does it feel weird for me to be sitting here? A little bit.
Well, you're in my seat and I'm in Eric's seat. Right. Everything feels a little weird right at the moment.
Right.
But some of you have heard David's voice in the background.
And Eric will be back, by the way. We should point out he won't appear on this episode, but we look forward to having Eric back. But yes, the ultimate pinch hitter. I'm ready.
Well, there you go. Put me in, Coach. Put me in. Well, David, glad to have you on this particular podcast. Good to see you over here rather than behind the computer and the desk across the way. But it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a great little talk here. Great episode we have coming up, and great guest, Bryan Van Dorpe from the Youth Enrichment Services, talking about everything they do in the greater Boston area, and particularly in terms of skiing. But before we get there, Mike, I know there are a couple of big topics that you wanted to hit upon to lead us in here. And let's start really big level. Let's talk about the growth of the ski industry nationally in general. You're the perfect person to ask. Where do you see it going? Well, as we all know, we've seen the pictures from Vail with lines, the line going up to Stowe, up the access road, or at any given resort anywhere. It just seems like there are more people out there skiing. Well, last year there were more skier visits, the most ever. We had a great season. We saw a lot of energy. But that doesn't always equate into new skiers. Us old guys, the baby boom, the end of the baby boom, I guess, will be getting out of skiing as time goes. And are we getting new skiers in, new youth in to take the place, which is the issue? National Ski Areas Association sort of breaks it down. Believe it or not, David, in 2011-12, there were 8.3 million skiers. Okay. And I would be interested to see how many people were in the US at that point, right? As a percentage of population. We saw a huge increase at the COVID time. 2021, we went up to 10.5 million. So we gained 2.2 million skier visits, but we really didn't see much. It's been pretty stagnant overall. Yeah, well, COVID could have cut both ways, I guess, right? I mean, the outdoor sports were definitely a refuge for a lot of people for being indoors for so long. But, there are so many factors when it comes to skiing. The question looms is how do young people want to spend their time, I guess, right? We produce a podcast here at Seamans Media for lacrosse, which has seen a boom, just as an example. And sadly, kids, from my standpoint, are moving away from traditional sports like baseball that I was brought up on. I remember as a young man, and I'm just probably a few years younger than you, everyone had their indoctrination as to skiing. It was something that you did. It was something that you tried. And I don't know, is your sense that skiing remains as hip and as popular as it used to be? Well, I think if your parents skied, if it became a family sport, yeah, I think you skied. Whether you liked it or not. whether you liked it or not, right. Whether you wanted to go get in the car, kids. Right. Okay. So those days were there. Unfortunately, there has been an issue with the cost of lift tickets. Look, Season passes are cheaper, folks, but the cost of lift tickets are not. a family that said, hey, let's go up next weekend to Loon and let's go skiing, or to Stratton and let's go skiing. It can't be planned out that way.
Right.
Okay. Unless you have a small fortune. So I think there's some real issues on how to grow the person that doesn't have the family that skis or the financial ability to ski.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Which in a way leads us into the next topic that we will cover, and we'll cover with our guest Bryan, and that's diversity. And we've talked about it a little bit on the podcast in the past, or at least you and Eric have, but that could be a delicate issue with skiing. I mean, let's call a spade, but stereotypically skiing is a white person's sport, right? It just is, but it's changed and is changing. So how would you evaluate it as we sit here today?
It's predominantly Caucasian.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And I remember when the Brotherhood of Skiing came out, which is a great organization. I've dealt with them in Boston before, trying to change the equation to one degree or another. You know, in the 2021-2022 season, almost 89% of the skiing population was Caucasian. Okay. That's not indicative of the US.
Right.
Okay. Definitely not today's world. But, you know, how to change that equation has been a huge issue. And that's why I think organizations like Yes can help bridge this lack of diversity through what they are doing.
And we're going to ask Bryan a lot about working with kids in the inner city and Roxbury, Mattapan, and areas like that of Boston to let's call it what it is, bring a little color to the sport of skiing and do some good work along the way too. It's not just about getting kids skiing, but it's about leadership. It's about bringing these kids to a different part of the world.
Well, I think we ought to think about it this way. We need more Pedro Martinez and David Ortiz in the skiing world because they are tremendous athletes. They have great personalities. And that's what I think Yes can do, is give us that next level.
It's a great way to put it. Just a couple of role models like that and a couple of programs like Yes, hopefully can really start to turn the tide. But I'm excited to talk to Bryan. And so should we bring him on?
We'll be back in a minute with Bryan Van Dorpe from YES.
Looking for expert ski, snowboard, and boot fitting advice? Stop into one of Country Ski and Sport's 3 locations in Quincy, Westwood, or Hanson, Mass. As a third-generation family business, Country Ski has provided Boston area skiers with the best service and discounts in the area for over 50 years. Whether you are brand new to the sport or a seasoned veteran, Country Ski has the equipment and accessories for all ability levels. Don't forget to ask about their popular season lease program, which helps families eliminate the growing pains of purchasing new equipment every year as kids grow. And don't forget, any child 18 years or younger receives a free season pass to Saddleback Mountain with each lease from Country Ski. Visit countryski.com for all the latest information or to shop online.
The Button Ski Hanger is a patented ski storage fixture that safely stores alpine skis regardless of length, width, or shape. This means that your fat powder skis can now be stored next to your narrower carving skis, your race skis, and your kid skis. For more information, visit their website, buttonskirack.com. The Button Ski Hanger is also available for purchase at amazon.com. So make your purchase today. The Button Ski Hanger is simply better for your skis.
At 4,237 feet, Sugarloaf is one of the largest ski areas in the East and second highest peak in the state of Maine, trailing only Mount Katahdin. Boasting over 1,300 acres of open terrain and a vertical drop of nearly 3,000 feet, Sugarloaf offers a wide variety of terrain for all ability levels. A historic winter is ahead with the debut of West Mountain. It's the largest terrain expansion in the Northeast since the late 1970s, adding 12 new beginner and intermediate trails, 88,000 feet of snowmaking pipe, and 246 HKD snowmaking guns Sugarloaf is a destination not to be missed. Stay slopeside and plan your trip today at sugarloaf.com.
Welcome back to the podcast, folks. Joining us now on the Zoom is Bryan Van Dorpe from YES, Youth Enrichment Services here in Boston. Welcome aboard, Bryan.
Thanks, Mike. Great to be here. Great to talk skiing and just youth programming in Boston.
Yeah, YES has a long history here in Boston, really bringing youth to the outdoors, but into the ski world. Why don't you give us a little history of the organization and the mission that you have?
Sure, definitely, Mike. YES has been around since 1968, so 56 years. I've been here 15, so a fraction of that time. I've been fortunate enough to be part of this great organization, but it was started in 1968 by Richard Williams. He was inspired by the Winter Olympics of the 1960s and 50s, and also inspired by Martin Luther King's dream of possibilities. His one goal, his one vision was to get Boston youth, urban youth, outdoors, particularly those that did not have opportunities to get outdoors. And what better way to do it than to get them up skiing? They'd get out of the city, they'd get to a place they've never been before, and they'd be able to try new activities. So back in 1968, he had this vision. He got a hold of a van. He got a little support from the city and started to develop some partnerships with some of the mountains. Hey, can you give us some free tickets for some Boston kids? Got the equipment, and the first trip led into the second and third trips. He got more volunteers on board, and over the next 40 years, we estimate over 100,000 Boston youth got to experience skiing. And I think the key to this is that these are kids that wouldn't even think about skiing. There's barriers, much of it economic. We know how expensive skiing is. There's equipment, there's transportation, there's lessons, there's all those types of things that really push kids in a different direction. And a lot of these kids say, you ask them, what do you think of skiing? It says, oh, that's something I see on TV during the Olympics or another time. So we bring that reality to them. And it was Richard Williams' vision to get these Boston youth out there. And a lot of times the kids will come to YES dressed in their jeans and a hoodie, say, I'm ready to go. So basically from soup to nuts, YES will make sure there's no barriers, whether it's the ski pants, the gloves, the goggles, the jackets, obviously the equipment, the lift ticket. We have volunteers and staff who are there who will teach them lessons. They'll be their instructors, the transportation, and then the mountains. We have great partnerships with a lot of mountains. So it's been an incredible ride for this organization, and we're continuing to flourish today.
That is incredible, because as Dave and I spoke a little earlier, trying to get new people into the skiing community, you are doing what others are not doing right now. What is your background, and how did you end up at YES 15 years ago?
Yeah, interesting. I worked at another nonprofit in South Boston for 24 years, actually, a South Boston neighborhood house. Similarly, it was around youth development, but it was a family organization, so that it basically was from preschool all the way up to seniors. And when the opportunity, and we had partnered with YES, so we had done ski trips with YES, so I knew about YES, but I didn't know the whole scope of the organization. And after I left the neighborhood house, I was looking for a new challenge, and then I heard about YES, and I was intrigued. And after talking to more people, they said, yes, the organization, Richard had passed, his wife Mary ran it till 2008. She was going to retire, so they were looking for new leadership. And I was excited about the youth development side of it, but also the idea they wanted to really make it year round, use that ski model to get kids out, not only in the winter in snow sports, but spring, summer, and fall. So that excited me, that idea that we could scale up and bring more opportunities to Boston youth. So in that time, I got involved. 2008 became the executive director. Growing up, I always say I played all the sports, including skiing. Was not good at any of them, but I did them all, so I got a good feel for it. But I also understood the importance of sports, particularly with young people, that opportunity to build your confidence and that say, hey, I can ski, I can run, I can rock climb. If I can do that, that translates into school and the community and being able to do other things, getting out of your comfort zone. So the importance of sports-based youth development is really key in a young person's life.
So you have truly been a public servant helping youth of Boston overall. We spoke a little bit about diversity earlier when David and I were having our conversation. And how does Yes solve this issue in the ski world? Because, overall in 2021-22, 88.7% of the skiing population was white. Fewer than 1%, 2% were Hispanic, African American, and so on. How does Yes help to solve this issue to make it a more diverse sport?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something that we're very much aware of. It is a sport that, saying it bluntly, it's a really white affluent sport. And to open the doors to other groups, other people, to make them feel comfortable is definitely a challenge. And it's part of what Yes is about. Yes was born around economic, racial, gender equity, to make sure these opportunities are available to everyone. So our racial equity plan is that we want Yes to be represented in the same manner of the youth we serve. And basically, based on need, our population primarily comes from Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, Jamaica Plain. And so our goal is to have our board, our staff, our volunteers, and our youth to reflect those neighborhoods and those youth we're serving. And we have goals each year to make sure that our staff, our board is reflective of that. It's not going to solve the problem immediately, but it's going to chip away at it. And it's going to make a presence there. And what we try to do is work with our partners in the neighborhoods, but also in the mountains, and explain, hey, this is our goal. Can you help us achieve it? Can you help your mountain achieve that? Are there ways that you can give these opportunities to people that wouldn't be there? Because it's a whole new population that has basically been shut off from this sport. So opening those doors are key. And I think what it does, it gives more opportunities to people, but it also gives these young people a feeling, I can do anything. If I can do this, I can do anything.
Sure. That makes all the sense in the world. You mentioned boys and girls. Do you see a pretty even split there with your participants?
Yeah, it usually is. And I think depending on the season, we may get a little bit more of the males, a little bit more females, but it's been pretty even since the beginning. And I think it's one of the probably the most, I think, attractive things about Yes, since its history. It's always been mixed gender, group of young people learning together. There are opportunities where boys and girls do this separate special groups, but for the most part, all programming is mixed gender, and I think they perform the same too. I think there's some great athletes that have come through here, great young people, both boys and girls.
Well, Yes is about growing kids. How do you see skiing being a part of that growth for these kids from, we're going to say the inner city?
Yeah, it's again, it's an opportunity for them to get outdoors, to try something out of their comfort zone. I think part of it too is the role models that Yes has available to them. Now, we have a staff of 12, which is a small staff, but in order to do all these trips, all these opportunities every single weekend, Saturdays and Sunday, 2 buses every day up to the mountains, and during the warmer weather to more local parks and waters, we need volunteers. And we have some great outstanding role models who really work with these youth, and youth see them, and that's an opportunity to grow. And we also have really built up our Yes Academy, which is basically comprised of our high school youth, of which we call the Leadership Corps. So once they hit the 9th grade, they're no longer a participant, but they're an instructor. They're a coach. This is their way of giving back to the community. And a lot of times we say to them, hey, someone in your lives early on took time to give you that opportunity to grow, to learn. Now it's your opportunity to give back what you learned. And I think teaching them that commitment to their community, to the youth, is a great value as they grow.
Do the kids embrace that? That wasn't part of the questions that we're talking about here, but embracing that, becoming a leader, even in the small realm of ski instructing, do you see most of the kids wanting to attain that?
Yeah, I think, the kids, the youth that have come up through the program and have been with us since as early as 7 years, they sort of are groomed that, hey, when you reach 13, you're going to be the leader here. So they go from sort of the idea that, hey, I'm learning, I'm having fun, I'm meeting new people, but now I'm the instructor. Yeah, it's sort of the way of giving them that leadership role. And that's what the leadership core is about, giving them opportunities to be leaders in their community and going back to school. Our goal is not so much teaching kids how to ski or teaching them how to rock climb, but getting them prepared for college and their careers and using the skills they've learned in the process to get further in their lives.
That is absolutely awesome, because the foundation of all of our careers happen when we're young. And a lot of times, the outdoors can be that conduit there to make something really special come out, especially in lifetime sports like climbing, like skiing, and so on, where you can carry it on. I know you talked about the mountains up north. I know you did something with Tenny Mountain this year. Sort of give us an overview of what mountains you've worked with up north and the experiences that the kids experience when they get up there, maybe seeing mountains that they've never seen before.
Yeah, Mike, it's an incredible opportunity, and the partnerships that these mountains provide is incredible. And it's great that they understand what Yes is doing, the opportunities to bring these youth out there. So we share in that vision. And, Tenny Mountain, I'll name a few: Stratton in Vermont, Sunapee, Pat's Peak, Loon, Wachusett in Massachusetts, and Butternut, Loon, Whaleback, and there's a few others. And a lot of them stay with us each year. Some change over and we get new partners, but usually there's about 10 or 12 that we populate each year. And without them, we would be able to do what we're doing because we know what the costs are for lift tickets and to bring youth up there. And they really make us feel good. When Yes comes, they wear the Yes bib. So every youth is identified, the yellow bib. And a lot of the mountains will hang our banner up and really, make the kids feel like, hey, this is your place. You're in your comfort zone and you belong here. And that's all we want to do, is make them feel like you belong here. You have this opportunity, and it wouldn't happen without these mountain partners.
That is fantastic. I remember this past, I guess it was late summer. I was in Rye, New Hampshire, surfing on the stand-up board. And there was a group of kids that one of the surf shops up there had giving lessons. And I think anytime we can empower these kids and expose these kids to what nature has to offer, I think we have a huge win. And I think there's multiple ways to do it. So let's talk about a big initiative that you've been part of, that Yes has going on, a new campus in Jamaica Plains. What's it all about and what's going on there?
Yeah, this has been something that we've been thinking about and wanting to do for a number of years. When I came to Yes, I was so impressed with the model and how many kids we were dealing with, but I knew there was so many more youth out there that we could reach, and we're limited just the size of our building where it is, its accessibility, and I think the staff and volunteers do an incredible job with the space we have. However, we're on Mass Ave. Buses need to double park. Pick-up drop-offs for parents are very difficult. And, most of our youth do come from more Dorchester, Jamaica Plain area. So a couple things. We wanted to, one, build our capacity to to take in more youth. There's no question about it. Boston, although it's thriving, many of the neighborhoods are gentrified, there is still poverty in Boston. There are still youth and families that don't have the opportunities, and those are the ones we want to reach. Secondly, just the accessibility, being able to be near an MBTA stop so that youth can come here after school or get here on the weekends. We want it to be more accessible. And thirdly, we just wanted to make sure that there's opportunities for young people to get here that are missing out. And our outreach has been very intentional. We make sure that it's the youth. We have an income eligibility requirement. We make sure it's youth that couldn't afford these opportunities. So the new building in Jamaica Plain, we purchased land on Amory Street, 267 Amory Street. And we are partnering with a developer. On one side, he's going to build 7 condos, but on the other side, we're going to have a new YES building, 16,000 square feet. It will have 3 floors. First floor will be a ski shop primarily, but also a rock climbing wall and just an opportunity for people just to walk in and engage and see YES. The second floor will be more a number of classrooms, but also staffing areas. And the third floor will be a large community room for training, team building, and just opportunities for bigger events at YES. We are surrounded by some green space. There's a playground. About 100 yards away is a skateboard park. So it checks all the boxes. About a half mile down the road is English High School, where there's a track where we run our summer track and field programs. So it really it fits the bill. We're in the midst of a capital campaign. We're part of the way there. Part of the goal is we're going to sell our existing building to help pay for this. We're in that process. We've raised about a third of the money. So we're still out there pounding the pavement. Our goal is to break ground sometime later this year. And hopefully by the end of 2025, be in a new state-of-the-art building. And I think what it will do is increase YES's visibility. I think, it'll be a new, beautiful building, but also our marketability and just definitely attract more people to YES, not only youth, but also people that want to be part of it, whether it's volunteers, supporters, people that want to invest in YES. And I really, truly believe that once people hear what YES's mission and a vision and just history is, they want to be part of it one way or another.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to come over and look at the plans for that building when you laid it out. It is remarkable. I look at it as if it's going to be a great friggin' safe spot for so many youth to come enjoy being with like-minded people. Your staff, tell us about the staff, their commitment. I've met many of them through the years, and how they're creating the next generation of skiers.
Yeah, definitely. Many of them have come up as YES kids themselves, so they've experienced it, so they understand the importance of their role. Most of them are, the ones that work in direct service are very young. So a lot of them are right out of school and want to give back. And a lot of them come, and it's great to hear them in their interviews saying, YES was a big part of my life. Now I want to show others how to do it, how important that is. So a lot of them come up through the neighborhoods. We often get people that have gone to college in Boston and are just have just attracted to YES. Say this is an opportunity to give back. So first and foremost, we have great role models here. Anyone that works here, we want the youth to look up to and just to learn from. We have a development team that is out there, seeking resources to support YES. We're a private nonprofit, so we don't get any government funding. So everything we raise is what we need for YES to survive. So, and we've started 13 years ago, we began a gala event in the spring, which funds about a third of our budget. So a huge event for YES. Usually this year it's April 25th. So the team, it's really a small team, but a very vibrant team that works together with a lot of different experiences. And, they love the outdoors and they appreciate what it means to young people.
That is awesome that you're continuing on the path for these kids to have a bigger role than just be participants, which is awesome. Any other duplicate programs around the country that you know of?
There are similar programs, SOS Outreach out in Denver. They are very similar to Yes, doing things in the Denver area, but they also have multiple sites. You do have a number other snow sport programs. I think Chill is similar. They are local too. But what's unique about Yes is soup to nuts. We make sure there's no barriers for youth to get to the mountains to get these experiences. So we do charge a small fee, but we do whatever it takes to be affordable for Yes. I think one of the things about Yes is that, skiing and snowboarding logistically is just a tough thing to plan. I mentioned earlier, you talk about the equipment, both the skis and snowboards, as well as the soft goods, the pants and jackets and things, the tickets, the transportation, doing all those things. A lot different than going to a basketball court or a tennis court to play. We got to do all this planning. So a lot of organizations don't or can't do that, or don't do that. Yes does that. And that's, I think, one of the things that makes us different, that we're able to do that and bring that along. But organizations, there's a lot of youth development organizations out there. I think Yes is unique in what we do and how we do it. I think involving volunteers is a huge part of what we do, that volunteers have the opportunity to play a big role here. And some volunteers stay with us, a year, and then they're on to another thing. Others have been with us 10, 20, 30, 40 years. We have 40-year volunteers here that continue to come back to Yes because they know they're making a difference. So I think we're very unique in what we do. We partner with a number of organizations, particularly here in Boston, and as well as schools. But I think, Richard Williams really created a model that hasn't been replicated yet. And I think, I do believe this model could work in other cities. No question about it. If you have the resources, if you have the volunteer base, and if you have the opportunity to get up to the mountains, it's definitely something that can work.
Well, Boston's always had a history of great volunteers and people giving back, and that's what you're seeing. One question for you. Local ski areas like the Blue Hills, Bradford, Neshoba, Wachusett, and so on, are any of them working with you to develop instructors for their facilities with PSIA, or also the National Ski Patrol, where it is getting tougher and tougher to find people that want to do those things?
Yeah, that's a great point. All those mountains have at one time been involved in Yes. Right now, Wachusett is very active with Yes. We go there a number of times, as well as the Blue Hills. We have an after-school program that goes there. Tech Boston High School, kids go there on Wednesday afternoons for learning. But they've also offered, as you said, the opportunity for our volunteers to take instructor training there to get certified. We have a number of volunteers that work. They're not certified, but there's more guidance and coaches for kids. But I think for those youth and those adults that want to take the next step into being an instructor, Blue Hills has been great about providing those opportunities.
That's awesome. I would love to connect you up with National Ski Patrol and Kathy Brennan from PSIA here in the East, because I look at the opportunity. We talk about diversity of bringing new people into those realms, because they don't have to be full-time. They can be part-time positions, and it can give these kids the ability to continue on beyond your program in a robust way. So yeah. I'll make sure I forward those contacts to you.
Definitely.
So you have a huge event coming up at Wachusett. What's going on there?
Wachusett, I think this was started before I came, so it's about 20 years old. Started by Bernie Weishel, a longtime supporter, has been with Yes since the beginning. But it's called the Mass Snow Challenge, and basically it's the culmination of our ski program. This year it happens on Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, so it'd be definitely be a festive day. But what we do is we bring a few busloads of youth, but we also invite families and our volunteers and everyone to come up and just spend the day together. The race course is set up. People can race, get a time. We usually do prizes. We do raffles. We have games for the kids. But it's just a way to say, hey, thank you. It's been a great season. We still have a few more weeks after that, but usually this is the culmination of a great ski season. And Bernie was great, really great about starting this and keeping it going. So it's really been a tradition at Yes since I've been here.
So this is open to the public, to anybody?
It is open to the public. You can register through Yes, or you can just walk up and register. A lot of people register and do the races and participate in some of the games, or it's an opportunity for families to go the youth who have been skiing all year to go off and go with their families. We are providing lessons for the kids too. So it's a lot of things going on in one day. People can sort of pick and choose and get involved. And we usually have a few hundred people there from Yes.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, and our partners at Wachusett have been great over the years, providing us with this opportunity with a nice space there too.
I know I have been there before, and I will be there on the 17th with you. The Crawleys have always been very supportive of this event, I know.
Yeah.
One last thing for you. How can the listener get involved with Yes?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of different ways that Yes can be attractive to people that want to give back and want to get involved. Obviously, to donate your time as a coach or instructor, not only for skiing, but we do track and field spring, summer, and fall locally at a couple parks. There's also the opportunity to share. We do a number of career nights for our youth, whether it's helping them with college applications, mock interviews, doing some networking with them, really sort of guiding them to the next step. We also have a number of committees. We have program committees. We have a volunteer equity committee in that we talk about how do we recruit volunteers that reflect the diversity of Yes. Where do we go? In the neighborhoods, where can we, talk about Yes? So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved, and obviously, as we're always looking for support, resources. With the new building coming up, we're in the midst of a capital campaign. So any opportunities like that, but there's many of them to get involved. Our website is yeskids.org. So click on volunteers. There's plenty of opportunities there, or feel free to contact me.
That is incredible that people, anybody can get involved. So where do you see the future? What does the future hold for Yes beyond the building?
My vision is that first and foremost, I think, as I've said, Yes is a model that works, and it's sort of transcended time and different periods. And you look 1968 to here, all that's gone on in the city, from the busing to what goes on in the schools, through COVID, through many different things. Yes has survived and Yes has thrived, and I think it's going to continue to thrive. We need to be number one, just continue to be intentional with our outreach to make sure we're reaching those kids who need us. But I think the model's going to work. Boston needs Yes more than ever. And I definitely, once we move into the building, I think our numbers will probably increase by 33%. We can definitely take 500 more youth each year and continue that work. And I think Yes will continue to grow. I think the activities we do now in the warm weather, that piece can definitely grow, as well as our ski program. We have waiting lists for most of our programs, which shows there's a need out there. So as long as that need is there, Yes will continue to be there.
Well, I want to say that you are doing fantastic things for the youth of the Boston area, adding to the diversity, giving kids direction, I should say. I have been around Yes since, oh my goodness, I came to Boston in 1985 and have watched it grow. And I want to thank you guys for everything you're doing to help, first off, the kids of Boston, but also create new skiers for the industry.
Well, thank you, Mike. And it's a great team here. I've loved my time here, from the board to the staff to the volunteers, the kids. We're all in it for the same reason. So it's a fun place to work. And I get up every morning with a smile on my face, knowing there's positive things that are going to happen here. But it's a great team, definitely.
Well, that is Bryan Van Dorpe from Youth Enrichment Services here in Boston. Thank you, Bryan, for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Love to be here.
This is the year to visit the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. With over 450 inches of annual snowfall, 4,000 vertical feet of continuous fall line skiing, a world-renowned ski school, and terrain for everyone, the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort is perfect for your next ski trip with friends or family. Off the slopes, Jackson Hole offers adventure and relaxation. Visit Yellowstone or Grand Teton National Parks. See elk, moose, and bison roaming in their natural habitats, or relax in a hot spring or at a spa. No more excuses. This is the year to go visit Jackson Hole. Go to jacksonhole.com for more information.
Hestra knows hands. For over 80 years, Hestra has been producing the highest quality, warmest gloves you can own. Crafted with durable, form-fitting leathers, they are made with the end user in mind. Don't let cold hands end a great day of skiing or snowboarding early. With hundreds of different options, you'll find a Hestra glove that fits your needs. Check out Hestra Gloves at hestragloves.com. That's HESTRAGLOVES.com. Or at your local ski shop or wherever Hestra gloves are sold. Hestra Gloves, taking care of your hands since 1936.
David, Bryan just was vibrant with his love of YES and what they are doing.
Really a saint of a man, isn't he?
He really is.
You just got the idea that he's really salt of the earth kind of guy with everything he does.
I mean, I knew he had been with Youth Enrichment Services for a number of years. I didn't realize it was 15 already. But to realize that he was with another nonprofit doing many of the same things, but not having to do with skiing in the Boston area, his commitment to the youth of this area and making a difference is huge.
What did you think about his overall mission? Because to me, you need someone really dedicated to the cause in a position like that. Because in many ways, I imagine his job is pretty thankless, right? It's not a job you go to for the glory. It's a job that you go to change kids' lives. And I thought that really came through.
It did. I asked him the question when I said yes is about growing kids. He's not worried about just putting a kid on the hill, but to give the kid the participant the tools to really succeed in life, which, skiing, what we do here, skiing is part of a lifelong learning experience and growth. And I think marrying the two together is just incredible.
Yeah. And it's great that they have someone like Bryan in place for as long as he has been. And he's got great plans for what's next. I wouldn't bet against the guy,
Oh my goodness. So I have seen the plans for the new campus. I went out for their big pitch to everybody.
Cool.
It is absolutely beautiful right off the train line. So right off the tee, if the tee is running, of course. Oh, sorry, folks. But no, I mean, what they're doing there, having their rental and ski shop downstairs, having a climbing wall, having classroom space, what they're going to be able to do out there is just incredible. And an extra 500 kids, I mean, that's moving the needle right there.
And we should point out that our listeners can support Yes, and whoever the producer is of this show will have to put that information in the show notes so people know how to contribute to Bryan's cause. So I'll do that.
Yes, by all means. But programs like this, we talk to the disabled skiing up in Loon.
Right.
Okay. Needing volunteers. We talk about, yes, needing volunteers. Sometimes we're talking to ski areas and stuff that our Jackson Hole or J Peak, or we just had Stowe Ski Patrol. Well, they're a long ways away. These are opportunities in your backyard to get involved. Volunteerism doesn't have to be dead. It is, why not take the sport we love and utilize it that way?
And talk about a way just to brighten your day. I mean, I remember when we did the adaptive ski episode, I know people that have kids that have severe physical challenges, but they can ski with the help of a program like that. And in like manner, the YES program opens up the skiing world to kids who probably never thought they would ever put on a pair of skis.
Well, when all the listeners, because we'll talk about that in a second, come out to Wachusett in a week, you can see the difference it makes in so many kids. Not only the kids, you look at the parents are beaming because they never thought their child could go down a hill. I mean, it is, and when they're running the NASTAR course out at Wachusett, because it's a timed course, it is amazing to watch these kids come down and look at the clock. The number doesn't matter. It's about the experience.
Yeah. And I hope more and more people dive into it. Most people have some form of charity or volunteerism that they do. But if you're looking to re-energize yourself and you're a skier, I mean, it's not going to feel like work, right? It's going to feel like doing something you love and introducing it to someone whose life you could genuinely change.
I have multiple friends who work in the adaptive skiing world. And it's not about their day on the hill. It's about bringing the next generation up, like like your neighbor, picking them up. And I can tell you, YES, I've been involved for a long time. Ski Market used to donate stuff to them all the time. YES is an amazing organization that deserves our support, and Bryan really showed.
Absolutely right. Anything else you want to mention before we close the show?
No, I think we are good. David, since you're sitting in that seat, you're going to close her up. Take us home.
All right. We miss you, Eric. We welcome you back anytime, believe me. But thank you for listening to the Basecamp Podcast. Please follow the podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you find your pods. It is a Seamans Media production and produced by, me, David Yas. Thanks so much. Terrific job today, Mike. Our thanks to our guest, Bryan Van Dorpe, and we'll see you next time.
New England Ski Journal's Basecamp is a Seamans Media podcast. Seamans Media. Inspiring, informative, insightful.